we ask you to be with us. Special time. We'll get you set for Bears, Lions, Bills, Cowboys, and, of course, Saints, Falcons. Let's go. Hurry up right now.
Let's do this.
By Audi, 60 seconds on the clock. Steve, 4 of the last 5 Patriots-Eagles games have been decided by a single possession. What about today?
Oh, yeah, another one possession.
Kurt, the Niners have won 5 in a row by double digits. Will they beat the Cardinals by at least that much today?
I'm going to say a titch less.
The Bears and Rams combined to allow 39 points per game, Michael. Will there be at least 39 on the board in the Coliseum tonight?
Teach more.
Mooch, Christian McCaffrey's 14 scrimmage touchdowns are more than 4 entire teams this season. Will he have at least 2 against the Falcons today?
Oh, yeah, he'll have 2.
Kurt, Derek Carr's multiple passing touchdowns in 5 of his last 7 games. What about today?
Yeah, why not?
Michael Thomas has had 3 straight games with at least 100 receiving yards. What about today?
He will.
Mooch, Clay Matthews at least a sack in 6 straight. What about tonight?
Bloodline, oh, yeah, he'll get one.
Kurt, your non-cousins Kirk, has had multiple passing touchdowns in 5 of his last 6. What about today?
Oh, yes, definitely today.
Michael, Frank Gore needs 73 rushing yards to pass Barry Sanders for 3rd all-time. Will he do it in Miami?
You know it.
Yes. He was about to say no until he realized.
No. The 30th ranked rush defense. That 30th ranked.
Pinstriped Dak arriving for work today in Detroit. Jane Slater is inside Ford Field with the latest. Jane?
Well, Rich, the Cowboys are certainly a hard team to figure out this year. They are number 1 in terms of offense when you look at total yards. And then when you look at their top 10 defense, they are in the top 10 because of total yards and points allowed. Yet they are just 1 game above 500. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott put it this way this week. He said, "We're not 9-1, we're not 8-1, but we're still in the race for the playoffs." Now, the Eagles have all of a sudden tied even with them. And when you look at their schedule moving ahead, it certainly is a lot easier. So the Cowboys will look to remedy their woes against this Lions team that has lost their last 5 of their 6, and they're without their starting quarterback, Matthew Stafford. For more on the roller coaster that has been this Cowboys season, a look back.
The Cowboys' expectations are very high.
Well, me and the other cowpokes are all saddled up for the journey east. It's a long way to South Florida, but the herd's got to get a move on.
The Cowboys look good. 3-0 starts.
The roads are treacherous, and I can see outlaws out there yonder.
Throws down the middle, intercepted.
Prescott's going to get sacked.
Hall ties him.
Lucky for me, this ain't my first rodeo.
Fumble! Cowboys have the ball. Take that. Cowboys driving the herd.
Looky there. Seems there's a new sheriff in town.
Wow. Uses his rope to tie his wrists and his ankles together.
Dallas and Philadelphia both tied.
This town just ain't big enough for the both of us.
So here we are in hour number 2 of NFL Game Day Morning, presented by Lowe's. You could see the Cowboys at 5-4. The only reason why they are in the 4th spot, not the 8th spot, is because the Eagles lost to the Cowboys. So you can see the Seahawks are on a bye week. What a remarkable, again, game that was Monday night in Santa Clara between the 49ers and the Seahawks. Steve Mariucci and Kurt Warner and Michael Irvin. I am your humble host, Rich Eisen. Look, the Cowboys at 5-4. And they, of the 4 losses, they lost to New Orleans without Drew Brees. They lost to Green Bay without Devontae Adams. They lost to Minnesota without Adam Thielen. So here comes Detroit without Jeff Driscoll, and you sit here and think, well, they should win this one. Who knows? So Steve Mariucci, I turn to you and I ask you, are the Cowboys still the favorites in the NFC East?
I think they are. I don't know if the NFC East is as dominating as it has been in the past. It's a 2-horse race with Philly. Oh, okay.
You're not
that's
sure.
That's a nice way of saying it's not. And so they're both 5-4, but like you mentioned, when they played each other head-to-head, 37-10, that's a beatdown in the National Football League. More than half the games are one-possession games, and they just dominated that game. So there you have it. But you know what? The Eagles are a little banged up. No Alshon Jeffrey today. They haven't had Deshaun Jackson.
No Jordan Howard either. They just signed Jay Ajayi.
Yeah, so they're a little bit banged up. So, yes, I think the Dallas Cowboys are certainly the best team in the East.
And I'll agree with you. And we talk about it all the time. It's a quarterback-driven league. And I believe the Cowboys have the best quarterback in the division the way he's playing this year, and we saw it. I know they didn't win against Minnesota, but he did some great things. You see a cover 2 shell right here, but notice what Minnesota loves to do is they love to push the coverage. They push that backside safety. Dak sees it, drives the skinny post on the backside. It was throws and decisions like that. Late in the game, got to make some tight throws. You get Tampa 2, you get the Mike Backer to turn to the left. Dak knows he's going to have a shot in between 3 defenders right here, but watch this dime that he puts right in between 3 defenders. I know, tough throw. Sometimes you got to make those tough throws late in the game. He makes the throw, and then he made some special plays on the run. I mean, how he gets out of this, I have no idea. A little duck, dive, run to the left, nice throw on the move. Dak's playing some really, really good football, and I think proved to all of us, hey, you don't have a run game? Can you stay in games against good football teams? They did just that, and Michael, they took the ball out of his hands at the end, running the football a couple times with their clock management. I would have loved to have seen ball in Dak's hands, playing that well. That's where he's been so good in his career. I think they could have won that football game.
Yeah, and we saw at the beginning of this, guys, we saw Jason Garrett walking in, Coach Garrett walking in. For him, yes, we can all agree that, yeah, they're the best team probably right now, the favorites to win the East. But this season was not about winning the NFC East. This season was about winning the NFC. And though you're undefeated in the NFC East, and Coach, you just talked about, it's not as tough or as good as it has been. Jerry spent $309 million. That's over $250 million, and you haven't won against New Orleans. You haven't won against Green Bay. You haven't won against Minnesota. The exact same teams you're going to see in the playoffs when you do get to the playoffs. So, yes, you're a favorite to win the East, whatever that is to you. But winning the NFC is what this thing was all about, and they are nowhere near the favorite to do that, not as presently constructed, not playing the way they're playing right now.
We should also mention on the screen lost to the Jets. A full complement of Jets. I mean,
yeah, that was their mulligan.
Lost to the Jets.
Yeah, they did lose to the Jets.
Meanwhile, the team that is leading the Jets and the rest of the AFC East back off of a bye. However, the Patriots coming off their only loss of the season.
Patriots' body is amazing.
8-0, baby.
He is feeling it. God, that's sexy. Whew. Jackson is going to trot into the end zone, showboating with a high step. Everybody's ready for the takedown.
Just sloppy, lazy. Do something.
A sack for Baltimore.
Man, that stinks. Better wake up. Wow. Better wake up. Jesus.
You are getting pushed around and gashed.
This might get ugly.
It is ugly.
They don't want to see Brady tonight.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I understand. I understand that Michigan State lost to Michigan yesterday, so our Michigan State producer has to put that on the screen and then this on the screen. I understand the Spartans got their tails beaten.
Okay,
but I guess I got to talk about how Brady since week 4 has not been all that, plus the biscuit that he has been as the GOAT. And I know this, too. I mean, every single time you think Tiger's out, you thought Jordan was out, you think anybody's quote-unquote out. You see LeBron James is dominating so far this year, and he sends out tweets with the hashtag #WashedKing. You see all that he's doing right now on his Twitter feed. So I will duck down.
Trying to lead the witness.
And ask this question right here, fully knowing, is Tom Brady finally showing his age?
Is Tom Brady finally showing his age? You good over there?
Yeah. I'm fine. I'm just ducking. Because normally when those questions get asked, we see something else happening.
And the thing is, okay, what are we talking about here? Is he getting old? Can he not throw the football? Can he not move as well? It's funny, I was watching the film against the Ravens, and I know it was a bad loss for the Patriots, but, about halfway into the first quarter, he makes this throw, and it's got fire behind it, smoke, it's coming out. And I remember writing on my notes, I'm like, oh, he's getting old with a question mark, like, oh, he can't throw it anymore. Here's the thing. Yeah, he's getting older, and I think you're feeling it in he's a little grumpier right now than he's been in the past. Sometimes you see that when you get a little bit older, you're grumpy, little things don't make you happy as much as they used to. And I think that's what's going on here. They have a lot of offensive issues. They're not running things smoothly. There's different guys that are moving in and out. They're not scoring like they're used to scoring. And you're seeing Tom and kind of that, I know I don't have a lot of time left. and we don't have this right now, and you see some of the grumbling that's going on. But physically, is he old that he can't do it? He can't make the throws? Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. I'm watching him. I've seen him make some of the same dimes, some of the same plays that he's made over the last couple years when they were playing and winning Super Bowls. So it's not age from the standpoint of physically he can't do it. I just think it's wearing on him a little bit because they're not playing the way the Patriots are used to playing offensively.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We ask this question every year.
Well, a different format.
Right.
After they lose a game, right?
It's always after he loses a game or he has not a Tom Brady-like game. But when we talk about is he getting old, it's not, Kurt and guys, that he can't make that great play. Is he can't make that great play consistently like we've seen time and time and time again. And there's sometimes like, the Tom's just been missing some throws. You're like, whoa, what is that? Like, what is that? And I'm with you, Kurt, on all of the people that have come in and people that have gone out of that offense. But we've given them a lot of credit over the years for assimilating those people, getting them and bringing them right in and still playing great football. Now, I guarantee you, Tom will use what we're talking about right now as a tailwind. He'll get right back out there and he'll tear everybody up and probably end up in the Super Bowl like he's done every year. Yes, he's getting old, old folks, and we'll see this thing. He'll fall off one day. I just don't think it is today.
Well, even though the last time he played the Spartans, he lost 34-30. I'm still going to support him. Because,
just keep living in the past, Steve. Just keep living in the past. We're asking about right now.
Right now, you know what? He won his first 8 games. And then, like you said, Michael, he loses the game. Boom, we're going to have this conversation. But you know what? Let's take a look at why he's grumpy.
Yeah.
No Gronk, okay? Right. They signed Ben Watson, all right, and he's not there available. He played a few games, and he's got 8 catches, okay? They had Josh Gordon. He came and went. They had A.B. He came and went. Yeah. They drafted a first-rounder, N'Keal Harry, from Arizona State. He hasn't played yet, okay? So they end up signing Mohamed Sanu. This has been a tough thing for him. And they're still 7th-rated passing in the league, man. I mean, for 42 years old, are you kidding me? This guy's just doing great. I've been impressed with this supporting cast that's been just a mess, really.
Let's bring in our resident Brady whisperer, 3-time Super Bowl champion Willie McGinnis. Willie, what do you think of this subject matter?
I think it's all valid points. And Michael, you are right. They will be showing that probably in the locker room to get fired up because you know what they do is billboard material. And I think Kurt nailed it as well. When you look at all the different things around Brady that has offensively that has broken down, starting with the offensive line, the injuries. They lose their center, Andrews, for the year. Win on the outside. It's probably coming back, Isaiah. Newhouse wasn't the answer, so the protection problems was in question. And, yeah, the revolving door at receiver or tight end positions. Yeah, and is Brady older? Of course he's older, but the team has to find, and which they've done in the past, find different ways to win football games. Really important, and it's actually funny, before the season, he actually tested faster in his 40-yard dash than he did at the combine, and he did an arm strength test. He actually tested stronger. So what he's doing physically in his training, it doesn't seem like he's getting older, but when you look at the statistics and all the different things that are happening on the field offensively, the numbers show that. But at the end of the day, guys, they are 8-1. They will get it together. We know if there's any team in the league that can make adjustments and fix things, it's the Patriots.
Well, and you, if anybody knows this better, I'd love to find that person. You know this, Willie, that the record will not matter when they know what they see on tape of themselves, when they self-scout themselves. Right. If this continues, what we saw against Baltimore, not the result, but struggling on offense, do you think the call from the 617 or the 508 area code is made a 305 cell phone number of number 87? What do you think about that, Willie?
I'm not sure, man. I talked to Gronk. It seems like he's really comfortable. He's busy. The one thing that he said is, if I wasn't busy and I was sitting at home not doing anything, then, yeah, I would get that itch and I would start thinking about football more. But he is super busy. He's doing a lot. He's active. And it's week 11. If Gronk starts to feel that itch, how long would it take him to get in football shape? How long would it take him to put the weight back on to come in and play against the run and defend against those hits and the different things? You got to factor all that in. Just because he's Gronk, he can't put on the uniform and just turn it on. It does take time to get acclimated to the game.
Well, as you know, we Michigan men, we get faster with age. With 40-yard dash times, 40-yard dash times. You know, I'm faster now than when my first combine run as well.
Rich, let me listen. I just cannot buy that this man is faster now than he was at 20 years old. Just check that clock. That's all I'm saying. Check that clock. It's impossible. Impossible.
I mean, all the Brady hate that is on.
No, that's just come on, man. But we can't can't sell that to the people.
Again, I'm perfect example of it. It's in the Ann Arbor water. There you go. So there's Bill O'Brien again. Last we saw him was in London.
I am not taking
got a
that
big
Mickey.
Time matchup.
I am not taking that Mickey.
Oh my gosh. Mike Garafolo, take it away.
Rich, here today we're going to see two quarterbacks who can beat you with more than just their arm. But that's nothing new for the Ravens. Defensive coordinator Wink Martindale noted that they have prepared more for mobile quarterbacks this year than for guys who actually stay in the pocket. Well, today it's not just the speed and mobility of Deshaun Watson, it's also his strength. I mean, the guy got kicked in the face and still threw a touchdown pass earlier this season. And Martindale says in practice, defenders will run by the scout team quarterback and say, I got him. Turns out in the game, they didn't really get him. So he's telling his defenders, bring your feet to the tackle and tackle Watson like a running back. But he said the Patriots tried to do the same thing with Lamar Jackson, and, quote, it's easier said than done. Now to noted fantasy expert Ian Rappaport.
Well, thanks, Mike. There's some of the backfields across the NFL getting a little shakeup this morning. I'll take you through two big ones as everyone's getting ready to set their lineups. First of all, Jordan Howard, the Philadelphia Eagles starting running back, is going to be out today with a shoulder injury. Just not quite cleared for contact. It's something that's not expected to be a long-term issue. That means Jay Ajayi, just signed on Friday, is expected to suit up and get some carries, though Miles Sanders is expected to get far more than that for the Eagles. Another backfield shakeup, Kenyon Drake, who arrived midseason for the Arizona Cardinals, is expected to be treated as the starter today for the Cardinals against the 49ers. Meanwhile, David Johnson, who still has $11 million, Rich, fully guaranteed for next year for the Cardinals, is relegated to backup carries.
All right, so that's the latest right there from those guys. So Bradley Bozeman knows our cameras are ready for Deshaun Watson, which you already picked up, or Lamar Jackson, or others. So he's letting everybody